in Artisan urges Ghanaians to stop bank leadership over 60 billion cedi loss as needless. In politics, John Kwabenya, Member of Parliament, Sarah Adjua-Safo apologized to the governing New Patriotic leadership and members as well. And on the foreign front, Libyan Red Crescent says the death toll following flooding has reached 11,000, with 20,000 still missing. We've got details of these and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. Well, let's begin from here. 7 fishermen are reportedly missing at Azijana in Adan. The Adan East District NADMO coordinator, Ebenezer Senate, who confirmed the incident, indicated that 2 fishing canoes carried a total of 19 fishermen capsized at the estuary whilst trying to enter into the Volta River. He indicated that all 12 fishermen in one of the boats were rescued, but the 7 other fishermen in the second canoe are still missing. He noted that NADMO, together with the Ghana Navy, have embarked on a search and rescue mission. We hope they are found alive. But let's still stay on this very development. The Adan East National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO Director, Ebenezer Senate, has declared that rescue efforts will persist into the weekend until the missing fishermen are located. This commitment underscores the determination to ensure the safe return of the missing individuals and offers hope to their families and the community at large. Take a listen.
These 2 canoes were involved. The name of the first one is Shalom, which had 11 people on board. Out of the 11, 10 people were saved, and we had 1 person missing. The second boat is called Barcelona, and it also had 8 people on board. And as at the time we got there, all the 8 were missing. But later we found that 2 people were saved at a community called Kwavime. This Kwavime is a community along the shores of Volta region. So yes, families went and then picked their people. But the other 6 in the second boat are still missing. The boat itself, the arbor motor, their fishing net, everything is missing. So search is ongoing. And that boat, together with Ghana Navy, are doing the searching. We continue with the search, and then the next day, after tomorrow, to search.
Well, let's still stay on this because the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Hawa Kumsin, has announced a 3-year moratorium on new fishing canoes in the artisanal fisheries industry from October 1, following a stakeholder meeting in Accra. The move is to preserve and sustain Ghana's fisheries resources.
Ghana's fish stock has significantly declined due to overfishing. The number of fishing canoes increased from 8,000 in the 1990s to over 12,000 in 2023, while annual small pelagic fish landings, the backbone of the artisanal subsector, decreased from 199,000 metric tons to 20,000 metric tons. Sardinella Orete's annual landings decreased from 119,515 metric tons in 1992 to 11,834 metric tons in 2019, impacting the livelihoods of over 3 million people along the values chain.
This means that no canoes will be constructed and brought into the system for the next 3 years.
The 3-year moratorium on new canoe entrants into the artisanal fisheries industry is a crucial step towards sustainability, addressing the pressures on fisheries resource, and ensuring a balance between fishing activities and resource conservation following the implementation of the close season.
Taking into consideration the fact that we must sacrifice today to feed the future.
The measures are to reduce overfishing and recover fish populations with the aim of fostering a sustainable and environmentally responsible marine sector through these combined efforts.
Well, if you just tune in, you're watching the first bulletin of the day on TV3 with me, Josh Quinn. In more news this morning, the Regional Maritime University is set to launch Sub-Saharan Africa's first fiber boat building academy, aiming to provide practical training support, sea transport services, and boost the artisanal fishing industry. The intervention is in partnership with Lamar Marine Services.
The Fiber Boats Building Academy, a pioneering maritime education initiative, will not only provide hands-on training, but also enhance sea transport services and support the artisanal fishing sector.
Biodegradable and not environmentally harmful and sustainable for long periods of time, which saves the trees for the future generations, which creates employment in other sectors that did not exist up till today.
The Academy, a joint venture between Regional Maritime University and Lamar Marine Services Limited, is a significant achievement in establishing Sub-Saharan Africa as a hub for boat building excellence.
Hopefully you can have a tank testing unit in Ghana itself, which will help you do the complete testing of the hull and things of that sort physically before you go to the computers and things of that sort.
The initiative aims to generate employment opportunities for graduates by integrating academic, practical, and economic aspects of maritime education.
You know, we are training students on theoretical basis, so having this company will aid our students getting the practical knowledge and practical experience with what they are coming to do.
RMU's Fiber Boats Building Academy is shaping maritime education's future and significantly enhancing the maritime industry.
And our lawyers for a private citizen who sued the Electoral Commission have accused the Commission of evading service of a contempt application. Despite multiple attempts to serve the writ, the Commission has initiated limited voter registration despite several injunction applications aimed at halting the very process.
Bailiffs and lawyers for Precious Aita took over 2 hours to gain access to the Electoral Commission's premises. The court bailiffs were obstructed by security personnel.
Contempt application, the rule is that the person who is a respondent to a contempt application has to be served personally. After trying to serve someone personally 3 times or more, if you are unsuccessful and subsequent service will be impracticable or lead to undue delay, then your only recourse is to apply to the court for substituted service of that application.
The client, Precious Aita, had filed an injunction against the ongoing limited voter registration.
The reason why she's evading the contempt service is that she knows with the contempt service she will have no excuse when she comes before the court as to why she's continuing. Once you are served with the contempt process, the next step is that the court will jail you if you continue with the very thing that we are seeking to stop you from doing. But we can assure her that we are not deterred. We will go back to the court, we will get hopefully the court order for substituted service, and we will come back. So whatever she does, she can run, but she cannot hide.
The opposition National Democratic Congress has argued that the Electoral Commission's actions could have severe consequences.
The intervention-happy ECOWAS countries, they better act to stop civilian coup d'etats from happening. They shouldn't close their eyes on this flagrant disregard of the principles of democracy and rule of law, only to jump in when somebody overthrows that system.
The limited voter registration ends on October 2.
Now let's do some financial stories because the Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, says attacks on the management of the Bank of Ghana over the 60 billion cedi loss is needless. In a 6-page open letter to Ghanaians following heavy criticism, the Finance Minister urged Ghanaians to support the construction of the new head office for the central bank.
Pressure on the central bank governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, and the management of the Bank of Ghana has simmered down after the NDC minority postponed their planned demonstration against the Bank of Ghana over the 55 billion cedis loss posted in its 2022 report, and also the ongoing construction of a new headquarters for the country's central bank. Well, amidst all the criticism of the central bank and its management, the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, in a 6-page open letter to the Ghanaian populace, has described as needless the attacks on the Bank of Ghana management. According to the Finance Minister, under the leadership of Dr. Ernest Addison, assets of the central bank has grown from some 53 billion cedis to up to 126 billion cedis. Revenue from 32 to 96.7 billion cedis, and the country's economy and GDP seen an increase from 219 billion cedis to over 600 billion cedis. These, according to Ken Ofori-Atta, are evidence of the good stewardship of Dr. Ernest Addison. Citing losses from central banks from across the world, Ken Ofori-Atta makes the argument that COVID-19 and the effects of the Russia-Ukraine war is what led the central bank in supporting government expenditure. On the ongoing construction of a new head office for the central bank, Ken Ofori-Atta makes the argument that Ghanaians should support the BOG.
Well, in a quick response, Poku Central MP Mahama Yariga says the finance minister must also resign over the defense of the central bank governor. He tells TV3 the minister has admitted to orchestrating the failings which led to the 55 billion cedi loss posted by the central bank.
Nothing good about it that he can be extolling. Absolutely nothing good about it. That they have maintained policy solvency is not a function of their ingenuity. Their policy solvency maintenance is because the law says that they are the ones to make policy. It's as simple as that. So I think that there's nothing that the finance minister can say about the governor today that will save the governor. Indeed, I believe that it's not just the governor who must go. The finance minister, by this statement that he has made, has admitted that he is the architect of what the governor has done, which has destroyed the central bank and destroyed the financial sector. And so, indeed, we must be demanding that the very accountability that we are asking of the governor must be extended to the finance minister. He must equally leave office. We've tried hard to take him out. He managed to survive. And I believe that is why he can sit and utter the kind of things that he's uttering today.
Well, now let's do some politics, pardon me. Residents and some electorate in Dom Kwabena say they cannot forgive Sarah Adjoa-Safo for some of the deals that she's taken them through.
Adjoa-Safo's prolonged absence from Parliament in 2022 sparked nationwide debate. She was referred to the Privileges Committee by Speaker Alban Gbagwin due to her 15-day absence. The former gender minister has apologized to the party for causing controversies during her extended absence from parliamentary duties and expressed regret in a Facebook video.
I want to use this opportunity and apologize to my party, the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and my party leaders. I want to apologize for the behavior I exhibited sometime in the past. What I did was not intentional.
She explained that the emotions she expressed were fueled. There
was so much going on in my life and in my family. I take this opportunity to plead with you all.
The MP's apology has been met with varied reactions on social media and her constituents.
For me, there's no any forgiveness because it's getting closer to the election year, so I think it's one of those things of politicians.
You cannot just leave your work and go somewhere and come back to say sorry. As I see a timid example, Mobia or Empasua Subia, Bibia, why careful.
Me, I don't accept his apologize.
Noble Crosby Annan, TV3 News, Accra.
In more news this morning, farmers and community members in the Bukpara in the Upper West region are sounding the alarm over a collapsed bridge that has remained in disrepair for a decade. This situation is leading to post-harvest losses, affecting not only their livelihoods but also access to education and healthcare services. The bridge was once a lifeline for the community. The bridge collapsed after a heavy rainstorm more than 10 years ago. The collapse has impacted the socio-economic activities of residents of the area. Residents are unable to cross from one area to another when it rains. The dilapidated state of the bridge now poses a danger to residents. The bridge was a vital access point for farmers to transport their harvest to market centers and warehouses. The CEO of Gukpara Farms, Jonathan Bozin, recounted how a truckload of yams being carted to the market got stuck in the middle of the valley.
The major challenge we face here as farmers has to do with this collapsed bridge. The vehicle got stuck here for over 2 weeks. All the yams were rotten and disposed of, yet I have to pay for the services of the car. It's only the dry season that we take our farm produce to either market or a warehouse. Even that, you will need only the services of a tractor.
The assembly member for Busi West electoral area and the farm manager at Gokpara Farms, Prosper Antwongmen, lament the impact the state of the bridge is having on agriculture.
And you can see over there the struggle we have been going through. But then we are carrying people to come and work for us. We are really suffering. We are calling for the government, NGOs, whoever that can support us, because this particular river, the bridge, has been our major challenge.
A worried leader of the Bukpara community, Chief Dosa Dacha I, called for urgent intervention from authorities. The deplorable state of the road is also deterring investment in the area. Well, let's know of what you make of stories that have been aired so far. Just go into our social media platform, Facebook, and engage us with your comments and observations. And now, local business operators are being encouraged to revitalize, to add value to their product in a bid to unlock opportunities in the African Continental Free Trade area. The AFTA aims to create a single market, eliminate trade barriers, and foster intra-African trade. 54 African countries have signed on to the African Continental Free Trade Area, with 47 countries ratifying the protocols and actively working towards implementing the agreement. Stakeholders in the Upper West region have been discussing the National AFTA Policy Framework and Action Plan. A senior advisor responsible for monitoring and evaluation at the National AFTA Coordination Office, Alhaji Yakubu Yusuf, urged Ghanaian businesses to capitalize on the opportunities presented by AFTA.
We should be able to generate the products that qualifies you to trade in AFTA. Those who are producing shea butter, those who are producing honey, those who are producing granite paste, those who are producing the smokes.
An enterprise support and trade finance specialist at the National AFTA Coordination Office, Divine Kutoche, echoed the call for local businesses to leverage AFTA to expand the activity.
We need to start training them how they can start packaging their product. We need to start letting them know that you don't produce because that is how it is done in Ghana. You now have to produce to have an international concept in mind.
The Chief Director of the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, Peter Mala, highlighted the region's vision of becoming a prosperous model region driven by responsible resource utilization and equitable opportunities for all.
By enhancing our trade ties with Africa, we can harness the untapped potential of our economies, drive sustainable growth, create jobs, and ultimately uplift the quality of life for our citizens.
As Ghana and other African nations gear up for the implementation of AFTA, the message is clear. Businesses must adapt and thrive in this new era of economic integration. And now to the foreign front. The Libyan Red Crescent says the death toll following the flooding has reached 11,000, with 20,000 still missing. The Red Crescent added there are 2,000 bodies in the sea. Workers are still pulling bodies from the water and the rubble in Denna, where 2 dams burst on Sunday. There are fears up to 20,000 people may have died, with more than 5,000 deaths already confirmed. The UN's World Meteorological Organization says most of the thousands of deaths could have been avoided. The World Health Organization has said it will release $2 million from its contingency fund to support the emergency effort in Libya. World Health Organization Chief Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus noted that 28 metric tons of trauma, surgical and emergency supplies are due to arrive on Friday. Well, and that's how we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website, h3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Roland Nashoko, good morning.
Morning, George.